Hi, my name's Wanda, and I am what you call these days a trance channeler, for lack of a better word. And I'm going to have a session today with Ash and Maja, and we'll see what comes up. It's always a surprise. Let's just say that. So I'm going to step aside, and energy will come through. You'll notice the energy come in, and the energy goes out. And I'll come back and say goodbye at the end. Also, if you're on YouTube, don't forget to press subscribe and follow along with what's happening. Okay, so now I'm going to take my glasses off and step aside here. It's a transformation. It reminds me of Superman sometimes. Let us get right to the nitty-gritty of this. We have some energy here that's very present, very excited, and the energy that you are presenting will be matched by the universe, for it is always matched by the universe. So if you are in a state of excitement, more excited energy comes to you with excited information. As you sit in a sad place, more sad energy comes to you. As you sit in an angry state, more angry energy comes to you. So it is of the utmost importance to understand that wherever you find yourself, more will come to it. Now, we wish to say that as a side note, but at this energetic exchange, there's great excitement to know what in the world is going on around with this energy. Where do I fit in the cosmos? Where's my place on this little place that's called Earth? And does the Earth actually exist? Or am I energy floating around and pretending that I see things? This is the energy that is being brought forth today. It is quite heightened. The information is not information. The energy that you're putting forth is quite elevated. It is coming, so we will speak at this place where we find you, where you understand that you're really not as you appear, or that you're just energy, and for a few moments, you've taken on a form that looks physically like you look at this moment. So there's a great understanding here that you're passing through this life. And in this knowing, there's a certain looseness available. For as you know that the lifetime is just temporary, you start to focus on the larger purpose, the larger picture, the story that's running through these lives. So there's a certain understanding now that there are a bunch of lives lined up one after the other. And the common denominator is only the energy, the love energy, so the words that we have put together to describe it. But it is the eternal force within you that causes you to connect to others and to non-physical and carries on from life to life to life. So with this knowing, so this is where we're starting with this conversation. We're not starting at the beginning. We're starting here somewhere in the middle. In this knowing, you come many times and change the physical form just to see. Well, I wonder what the difference is if I live a total different experience. Is my essential life force the same? Oh, it is. All right. But what if I do this crazy lifetime? Is it the same? Well, yes, it is. And over and over and over, this pattern's repeated, not just by the humans that are here, but those way far beyond you that you're representing here. You are all coming and thinking, wow, it doesn't matter what I look like, what I get into, what trouble, what greatness, what I own, the humans that I meet. My essential life force is always the same. Now, coming from this place of knowing, what is next? What is next after you understand that you're just an energetic life force being hurled through lives and times and energetic atmosphere? What else is possible now once you reach this knowing place. And we will continue for a moment in this way, because as you come to understand about this energetic life force, this is a wonderful choice of words to use for this exchange. You start to understand that your physical being doesn't matter, and your humanness dissolves, and you become more energy while you're in your human form. And this is really the greatest things you can achieve there, is to look like you're physical, but act like your energy. It's much different. It's a much different way to move through the world. And other human beings, even though they are unfamiliar with what's happening with you, feel the energy and they connect to it. And suddenly there will be those looking at you and through you, just as you are looking through them. And now you see, this is how your world changes, one human being at a time. As you begin to be less concentrated energy and you become looser, you become more invisible, really. You're dissolving slightly. So others are able to see through you and to your energetic self. And now you have much different conversations. Now you have heart-to-heart, energy-to-energy conversations, which are really always the same. I love you, you're magnificent. You are the most blessed creature there ever has been, as are you. This is the only conversation to be had between energetic love beings from one to the other. You're lovely, you're wonderful, you're perfect, you're amazing. What are you doing here in the human form? Are you here to have an adventure such as I? Of course you are. I can tell you are there for the adventure. And same for you. So this is your highest, greatest experience there, is to become invisible while maintaining a physical form. Now, that is, we wish to set the this sort of knowing here, so we may start from this place and carry forward. We wish to the others that are involved in this energetic exchange to understand where this conversation will go. So now we may begin. What is it that is pressing on your heart, your curious human self, to discuss at this energetic exchange?
I just have a quick question. When you use the term invisible, are you saying transparent? Because to me, there's a difference.
It would be, oh yes, precise. This is exact. Not invisible, really. It is when your molecules move so far apart, you can see through you. So it is sort of like the fog, you would say, or the heat rising from the pavement. It is more, you are able to see through it, but it is not disappeared. So yes, this is more precise.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
And you understand this dissolving of a physical self. And it is actually, to be more precise, the energy is moving so fast, the molecules, that you're moving apart. So there's a small space between the molecules. And this is the part that makes you appear translucent, as if you can see through you. It's the molecules of energy moving quickly. So you understand that you are capable of doing this.
Yes, I do. And I have to say that when I have had those moments, and I actually have some photos of those moments, but they're very joyful when you are transparent, or you used another word that was very similar, but yes, they're very joyful.
It is because you are your purest love self as much as is possible while being in human form without leaving. So this is the joy. The joy is the reaction to the utmost connection to all that has ever been, all that will be, and all that exists in this moment in the other humans. So you at that moment are complete. You are complete, you are one, you are everything, and you are nothing. You are all together. So this feeling that is created is your response to energetic completeness. You can be no more whole while you're in physical. When you leave, you're more whole. But when you're in physical, there can be nothing more than this. So the joy that you feel is that connection with everything that ever has been.
Yes,
it is quite an extraordinary feeling. And many feeling, now we must be precise with this, it doesn't begin as a feeling. The feeling is the human response to the act of complete oneness with everything. This is your human mind trying to put a word to this completeness. So human words aren't always exact. So it is important for others to know that this is a possibility for them, which is why this energetic exchange has occurred at this moment in time, which again, we are hesitant to use these words for, this is an eternal experience. So it is not a moment and it is not time, but this experience is occurring, this energetic exchange, so others may know what they are capable of, because they often forget. Most have forgotten. Very few remember this, that they may dissolve themselves by fast-moving energy. So it's important for this to occur, to remind them that a human being who looks like you look like a human being, you have a form, is capable of this. So you have brought this energetic exchange about to share with other human beings who you can't see, so they now can remember their own potential. And you understand this as well, but we wish to say it in words so they may understand. For the other human beings are not mind readers such as you, so they must hear these words. They must see a human form in order for them to remember, because they're living a human experience and they want to know at a human level that you're human as well. For they discount the energy that has no physical form often. Often the voices and the, some call it intuition, these nudges to do certain things are often ignored by humans, but they cannot ignore humans who have a physical body, because they know right away that you're really the same as them. You're a human being. So this is an important exchange for this mission, or this exposing of information and truth.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I do have a question. I'm trying to find a way to frame it. I have a daughter who's in a very ill body, and she's making decisions right now that, from me standing watching, it looks like there's several things happening. One is that she's sabotaging herself, and the other one is that she's endangering other people by driving when she's has these very serious conditions that affect her blood pressure, her pulse rates, her oxygen levels, all of those kind of things. And I'm not sure what my role is in it. Should I step in? She's going to have surgery soon, and she's not telling the doctor everything that's going on because she's afraid that they won't do the surgery if they know what's the other things that are happening. So to me, that's a bad decision.
So you are also bringing this forth because it is the opposite experience. So one experience, you understand that you are energy and you may dissolve and you are one with others. Mm-hmm. And now you have brought forth the most human information possible. Right. How do I interfere with other human beings' experience? Right. Now, you know the other side, which is I dissolve myself and I am one with them on a love, energetic level. So now you're bringing your opposite personality forward. And this is most perfect because others need to know that if you can dissolve, can you also worry and control and get in the middle of a mess? Of course you can. This is important for others to understand, that you go back and forth between your hardest human self that interferes and worries about the bills, to your energetic self who dissolves and flies around in the air and floats among the trees and such. You see? So now the two personalities are surviving within your one physical self. And this is the human experience. You have said it exactly. You are able to go as far as you can energetically, but you're still human. Never forget that. And all of the other human beings are very grateful right now that you've brought this forth. Now, as far as the information goes, you already know the answer. So, but you have brought it forth to show the others, you see, I worry about things just like you do. I get in the middle of situations and I lose contact with my higher conscious self that knows everything. Just because I'm in this moment evolved and disintegrating into love, it doesn't mean I can just as quickly go back into my human form with no access to information. All of a sudden, I'm just the same as everyone else. I don't know what's going on. I have no intuition. I have no insight. I can't hear any voices. I'm just my small, heavy human self, just trying to get by. I'm worrying if I have $5 to do something, just the same as everyone else. So this is important to understand, that you're as evolved as you are on one side. You're a human being, which is why you're in physical form, by the way, which is why you have not left this place where you reside, is because there's a part of you that still wants to experience this. The love, the hate, the worry, the pettiness, the judgment, all of that is the human experience. Right. And it is not to be dismissed. It's not to be judged. It is just part of the human experience to have these worries and concerns. And how much power should I put down as a human? And how much I can't go around with my head in the clouds all the time. I'm not like that person. I must also be a responsible citizen to the earth. So it's always like this, isn't it? Well, you go back from one to the other, to the other, to the other. Now, we will, of course, give you an answer without giving you a precise answer. When you're in alignment, you know all things. When you're in alignment, you know all things, because you're not judging, your ego's not involved, and you have no preconceived notions, such as this discussion brought forth. You already have your certain preconceived ideas, but you're trying to resist what you have built up as a true model of a good citizen. So you're trying to resist it. So this energy is going back and forth in this way. So you're not centered now. Now you're not in alignment to hear the quiet truth. And of course, it would not be the place of the universe here to tell you what your quiet truth is, implying you don't know yourself. That is never the way of these energetic exchanges. The energetic exchange is only to remind you of your greatest potential while you're in human form, which is you have access to everything. If you choose to ignore it, that's absolutely fine. If you choose to follow it, that's absolutely fine. It really doesn't matter what you do. And this is very hard for humans to believe. It doesn't matter what you do. You are still revered and loved and supported by the universe. It doesn't matter. You can't do anything wrong. Therefore, the fear would be removed, and then you wouldn't be very much of a human if you're not living in fear. This is the confusing part. If you are able to resist, remove yourself from the fear place, which is the ego always, as you know, the ego and the fear live together. When you come back to center and you feel that space of ease and oneness that comes over you, and you have felt this, you have tried to describe it as a word, but it is really a sense of oneness with all that is. And suddenly you remember, it doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm not better or worse. Therefore, no one else is better or worse. I am just sitting in alignment, not judgment. And I am loved no matter what I do. The other humans are loved no matter what they do. Do you understand this conversation?
I do understand. There's still a struggle in me because I have a 9-year-old granddaughter. My daughter may check out with the surgery. I don't know, but that's a possibility. And she's in great denial about what's going on and won't talk about what will happen to her daughter. What will happen. Yeah. And
yes,
the options don't look good other than Mike and I, but that's not lined up. She will go into foster care until something happens, but it's just a nightmare of a situation for, especially, I understand. The Spirit's been telling me since she's young, she has her own journey. You must honor her choices. It's her path. But when it comes to 9 years old, who's really attached to her mother, it's very scary, in the human form. It's very scary to look at this and think of what she might face, even if it's only temporary, and that it could change our lives dramatically, and which that's okay. I mean, it's we do what we must do. It's just very heartbreaking and confusing over what is my role in it. How much do I insert myself in that? Do I just stand back and keep my mouth shut and watch and see what plays out for everybody? I don't know what's the right thing to do.
We must ask you, do you believe that every human being, no matter what their age or size or denomination or whatever they look like, they are all have their own attachment to their energetic self?
Yes, I do believe that.
Yes. So this is not a point. It does not matter about what they look like or anything like this. Sometimes there are those who have not spent so much time on the earth that have a greater connection to truth.
So true. She's energy. Amazing. She's deep walker, young girl. It's just hard. It's just a hard thing to sit with right now.
So you speak of this hardness, which is the opposite of dissolving. You understand?
Yes.
These are opposites.
I do.
So when you are in your hard form, you are very heavy. You're very connected to all things, ego, human emotions, physical worries, resentments, and anger. When you're hard and heavy, that's your we would say your most base human experience. And many humans are having this heaviness. And they try to walk through the world with these heavy feet. Mostly they just lie straight down because it's too difficult to move your heavy rock body around. Now, you have spoken of another type of body that you are able to access,
right?
Which really is floating away, really. It's sort of like a helium balloon. You can't even keep it to the ground. So it is quite the opposite. So as we began this energetic exchange, we pointed out that there are two experiences to have there, many, but these two are opposites. The heavy human experience that most come and have, and they buy some things, and they treat people a certain way, better or worse, and they leave the earth. Then there are others who have memories or access to information that the heavy people do not. So never forget during your lifetime that you have access to the lightness as well. Yes. Remember that you're not one of the heavy humans that have decided to stay that way. You have decided to be more. You've decided to be something different and have a different experience during this time, which is access to lightness and disintegration.
So true. I find myself going back and forth almost moment to moment right now.
Yes.
So thank you. I really appreciate.
Yes. This is the true human time. But as you also know, when you're staying in the heavy form, you do not have access to truth.
Yes.
You only have access to your ego.
It's an interesting place.
If you choose to listen to ego, fine. They're very smart. The ego thinks and does great solutions to things. That's fine. But not always truth. The truth is in the moment. You know what truth feels like. Truth, you tear up and you stop moving and you're silent all of a sudden. And your heart slows down. Truth, know what truth feels like. It's much different than the heaviness of ego.
Right. Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm going to mute myself again.
Thank you. We would like you to do Namaste. This would be an important process for you to understand that you are hard on yourself for being human. But yet, as you look in the mirror, you'll see you're the same as others. So there's no reason for the harshness. You should know better. I'm more evolved than this. This is not the true way of truth, for it is also the ego. The truth is You're magnificent. You are much loved by the universe. You're perfect no matter what you do, as are all the other humans. This is truth as you know it.
Yes.
So let us do Namaste together.
Namaste.
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 Wish to speak of anything else that is far from this enlightened, not far, different than this enlightened exchange that we have been having?
Well, as always, I have questions, but I would like to try to keep the train of thought or the topic of the discussion consistent. That was wonderful. I've been reflecting on our last discussion that we had, and we were talking about freedom and the freedom to choose, the freedom to remove yourself from the earth if you wish. So I've been thinking about that and the concept of time, that if you're really just putting a life on for the moment, then there's less significance to what happens through that lifetime. It seems like it's everything to us while we're in the lifetime. But as you say, if you can look at it from a bigger picture, it becomes perhaps less of a crisis and more of an experience of the moment.
Yes, let us correct your wording. There's no life more important than another. Whether or not it is short, whether or not it is lived with a disabled brain, whether it is lived by hurting other human beings, it is all an experience and it is all worthy. So it is each life that is lived is just as important as the other. And it's very difficult to understand this because the ego disagrees. Because it wishes to know good and bad, and it wants you to be good so you're not bad. You're going to be a winner, not a loser. That's all the ego knows. So we are having an energetic exchange that is beyond human words. And we are saying each life is precious and valuable, no matter what you get into.
Mm-hmm. So on that topic, I'm always fascinated with past lives and people's history, and I feel like it is like knowing yourself. For that's been the discovery for me, is like, well, there's this whole other part of myself that I never knew existed. So I want to understand it and learn about it and make it part of my conscious awareness. So in that vein, I was thinking about your comment about freedom and the freedom to be whatever you want to be in a lifetime. Do you have the freedom, or is it possible to have freedom to remember your past lives without having to use a technique like hypnosis and another individual, but just to recall experiences and to be able to relate them into the current life? So I think on some level, we talked about in the last session about me having experienced famine or starvation and need in past. So now I'm coming in with a different perspective. And that's kind of what I'm getting to as well. If you could actually remember the event, it would seem to make things more meaningful and something you could make you a broader person, I think, if you could do that. So it seems like we're shortchanging ourselves not to be able to remember.
Yes. So this is a discussion that is often on your heart. And we would like it if you could set your ego aside, but it is not something that you do easily. So it is sort of a hammer with you. It's the same point over and over and over, and you wish the universe to understand what you're really, really, really saying, and then you wish it to come back with an answer that fits with your understanding. So coming from this place, firstly, you must understand that you have not certainly reached your height of this human experience in this lifetime. So, and that's not an insult to you in any way. You are a human being doing your thing, but there's not we must be precise with this. You have not reached your full capacity yet in this human life. If you continue in your lifetime and you wish to evolve more, then you will. When you yourself draw yourself back to other times, you are slowing down your forward progress. We're going to explain this to you once more. When you excel in this lifetime and become less human, less attached to your human life, your ego, your brain, your humans around you, the life that you've created, when you are less attached to that, you will have more access to other experiences you have had where you're learning lessons, when you have learned lessons before. Now, the reason that you yourself are sort of what we would call a stubborn human being, and we mean that in the most loving way, you are stuck on this idea that you must go back to retrieve what you learned and not learn something new this time. Because you think, I already learned that. I should be able to already pass this human class and I should be getting an A+ in it. If only I could remember all of the things that I used to know. This is really what is behind this conversation. So what we really want to bring about to your mind, and of course, there are humans who have flashbacks and information about other lives. Of course, you know this already. So perhaps you are asking this question for others, not yourself, for you already know this to be truth. But what is really going on here is your life during this time. The human being, the experience that you've chosen to have in this lifetime is getting stuck in the brain. Now, because it's getting stuck in the brain, you're losing access to many things which you would love to get your hands on, but that must be done by a letting go of the brain, of the knowing, of the things you are sure are true. You're very sure of many, many things. If you really come to a place where you don't know anything, you will have access to much more information. And this is a difficult conversation to have with you because you have been rewarded for knowing things. You've been rewarded for using your brain and getting lots of information and knowledge. So it's very difficult for you to perceive letting it all go. Why would I do that? I've just achieved it all. Why would I let go of everything I know? Even if you were to hear from the universe of love or whatever you consider this energy, that it would be better for you to let go of everything you know, and then you'll have really access to truth. What do you think of hearing that?
Oh, I'm just wrestling maybe with the terminology, but when you say letting go of what you know, it's like, yes. Well, you can't unlearn something once you know it, then you know it. I can see how you could change opinion, you could change feeling, or you could change your outlook, your view on things and how you perceive something, but to let go of knowledge or understanding, I'm struggling.
We'll give you a great example. Do you remember learning something that was taught as if it was the absolute truth? And then a few time has passed, and all of a sudden someone discovers, oh, sorry about that. That was wrong. We taught you, we gave you the wrong information, but we were sure at the time, we were absolutely sure at the time. Hey, sorry, we're wrong about that. Do you understand what we mean by that?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yep. Things evolve. Yes. Knowledge evolves.
Yes. So if you were in a place of softness, well, at this moment, I think I know this. I might know this. I've heard this to be true. You see the softness in that? If you're able to go a little softer, this might be the truth. When you can soften yourself up, that's your first stage. Then after that comes, I really don't know anything. And it will be a while for you to get to that place, but really that's your place to get to. So first it starts with, this might be true, maybe. Then eventually it will be, I really don't know anything. And when you don't know anything, then you know everything. What do you think? Now that's something achievable for you?
I feel that summarizes all of our conversations. I came in thinking what I knew was true. Then I discovered that, well, maybe that wasn't true. And now I'm realizing I really know nothing about what's true. Yes. But I haven't got to the knowing everything yet.
Oh, well, that will be something different. That will be a true letting go. For in your mind, you're kind of thinking, well, if I only said it a different way, then I would know. You see how your ego's still playing with you a bit. Well, they don't understand me. It's just the universe of love. They don't know everything. So if I word it differently, if I state it upside down, then all of a sudden they'll agree with me. You have this sort of running information behind what you speak. If they understood me, if I could speak more clearly, then they would agree with me. And this is an old ego tape, I guess you would call it, a programming that you've had that's been very successful for you. So in order for you to truly uncover what's hidden, it will be necessary for you to sit and keep your mouth shut when someone asks you a question and say, I don't know. Whoa, that would be very scary for someone in your role, because people have looked to you to know answers. They've looked to you for assurances, because you speak very assuredly. So what will happen if you say, I don't know? Then they will have to go access their own truth. If they stop relying on you for truth, they will access their own truth. And then really, that will be more correct. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think there's certainly a strong element of truth in all of that. And I'm thinking about that in relation to healing and people looking for guidance or advice around healing. And, by saying you don't know, then that all, that's clear. That opens up the door for them to find their own answer.
Yes, there are many lazy humans that they would prefer if you told them what's what, but it might be inaccurate. And they will also blame you, of course, because you're wrong. And of course you're wrong because what you know is just for you and it's your small truth. The only way for other human beings who are asking you questions to find their own truth that they're responsible for and that they will respond to is by hearing the voices, which often they cannot hear. So the answer again, allow yourself to be a mirror for others. As you move through the world, you greet others in love. You are lovely, you're wonderful, you're a magnificent human being. I adore you. Just as you say to yourself, I am magnificent, I'm wonderful, I love it. I love who I appear to be. I'm magnificent because I am the universe of love. I am love. I am love walking, but I find myself in human form. And as I look at you, I see, oh, you're human, but you're love inside as well. This is your mission, really, is to allow others to see that they are love and to remember that you are love as well. Really, that's all there is. Too simple for you. Yes, we understand. But really, all of your questions and discussions always come back to the same place. That you are love, you are wondrous, as is everyone else, no matter what they do, what they get into, or what they look like.
Right.
Is that good for you?
It is. Thank you. Can I change topics briefly, or are
yes,
we okay?
Then we will conclude our exchange.
Okay. Sorry, did you have something you wanted to ask, Madhu?
I was just going to affirm that is the journey, right? It is to be love in this world, and it's very challenging at times. It's challenging when we, like with my daughter, I know that is what I'm to do, is to love her and love, see that and trust them with their own lives, I get that. And I totally get that. I understand that is the job of the day. And it can be very challenging sometimes.
And yet the easiest thing you'll ever do, because that's what you are. You are love in human form. So it only takes a moment. In a moment, you are love. And in a moment you forget. And in a moment you are love. And in a moment you forget.
Oh, yes. That's true. Yes.
Let us conclude our energetic exchange here. We will leave it at this point where humans, as difficult as it may be, understand that really you've only got one job there. It's to love. It's all there is, and it's all there ever will be, but it's a difficult assignment for many. So let us leave it at that.
Very good.
Let us do namaste.
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 Oh, thanks, guys.
Thank you. That was very interesting. Very, I get it. Thank